Join us at Your Own University. Like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. You're not going to want to miss a bit of this.
To Path, Your Own University podcast, you for short, because really Your Own University is about you. That really is the point.
Yeah.
So, and you know, people are complex. You are complex. Each of us is complex. We're all complex. And we have a complex, subtle, and therefore, I'd say therefore, powerful topic today, which integrates several, as is the way people are, complex and intricate, powerful, amazing. And so today's topic is the body as it relates to duality and masculine and feminine.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this. So we alluded to talking about this in episode 9, everybody. And then we went off on time and space, which was so good for 10 and 11. And now we're at podcast 12, and we are going to focus on how we have these two different polarities and how they interact with our trademark, the 6 personal power zones, and how you can bring them into balance. Because I think, I don't know, like, what do you think, Jims? I think that our whole life experience is about creating this balance and this flow and learning how to balance everything in the world, masculine and feminine, wealth and poor, highs and lows, sadness and happiness, just in order to live in this place of constant flow and more harmony. I know that that's my goal. I want to live in this place of constant flow and harmony. And there's a part of me that's still like, oh, I don't know if that could really exist, because I lived in chaos for such a long time. But the more that I grow, the more that I understand that part of it is about being okay with this duality, this paradigm that we live in, this up and down, this masculine, this feminine, this positive, this negative, and not really attaching to either end, the more I can surf my own wave. How about you?
Yeah, I like what you said. And earlier in what you were describing, you said something to the effect of, it's about, like, we're trying to balance, you know, I'll just say this and that. You said, you gave many specific examples, but this and that and the other. And I would just add balance with. So what I thought of when you were speaking a lot is, just highlighting the fact that all of this that we're meaning to do is really in relation to this life that we find ourselves in. And it's about negotiating, or ideally dancing with, if you were to use those words, the way of things as they come, moment to moment, minute to minute, but also over time. And yes, we absolutely will then be needing to balance, you know, wealth and poor, or this or that. And, you know, feel free to remind me of your specifics. You have many very good specifics there. And it's both, and it involves the duality of everything, which includes the like listening to the way things are, or trying to get with the way things are, but then also trying, you know, to act in certain ways to interact in ways that help us find that balance. So there already is sort of the implication of there's an inner and an outer, masculine, feminine, you might say, as it relates to yin and yang, or active and passive.
Yeah. So the body, I relate to anything organic and anything that is in the greater body, anything that's physical in our lives, anything that is concrete in our lives, matter, anything that's made of matter, and of course, our physical bodies. So what are some ways that you think duality run in your physical body, or like your day-to-day life, when it comes to self-care of your physical body? Because you're excellent at it.
Thanks. All right. Well, yes, working on grounding down to the body. I was up there in the clouds there for sure in my last answer. Well, first of all, I'm going to work my way down. First of all, let's just point out with the body. We have left and right. We have two eyes, left side, right side. You know, we have two nostrils in our nose, right? So it's either side. 2 feet. You know, all this. You can just count them, and that gets into the energetics of things, which we'll focus on another day more. But this right and left, this and that, it really actually works all the way deep down into the body. But sort of reaching back to what I was saying before to bring it to the body, the way you feel is what really counts, moment to moment, minute to minute. And feel free to help direct me in this question, but self-care, first of all, is you need to do things with your body that make you feel good. That's my point here.
Yeah.
And whatever that is, although there are some general things that are the case for everyone. For example, movement. You need to actually be doing something with your body. You know, the expression, something like, if you don't use it, you lose it. Use it or lose it, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You need to use your body in order to keep it functioning the way that it's designed to function, that it's ready to go. It does for you. But if you're not using it, in some sense, at least as a metaphor, it's going to forget how to operate its functions that it needs to, whether that's breathing smoothly, clearly, which does point to some of the energetics of things, or whether it's, and that would be either, you know, like through your nostrils, you're not stuffed up, or it would be like relaxed breaths that have you feeling peaceful. Anyway, I could get into all sorts of specifics, but, you know, there's everything from like, you know, cardiovascular is very important. Muscular is important. There are different times that these things are important in different ways. And the way you teach addresses this specifically. I'm thinking right now of, over time, the body needs different things. So I remember there's a point in life, and I remember this explicitly from your course, actually, from the holistic life coaching certification training I'm doing. There's a period of life where it becomes particularly important, for example, to really work your muscles, because they're not going to naturally be as alive, let's say, as they would in other times. And what time is that? Can you just remind me of that? It'll help me gain traction a bit more here.
Well, it's mainly after 40 and 50, just because our testosterone and estrogens and progesterones and all of that, which we all have, all of them, just to different various. Men have more testosterone, and as it drops, like, they become a little calmer and a little more accepting and a little less driven, right, for action, in that masculine testosterone. And as women's estrogen goes down, we lose muscle mass, we lose some bone density too, and our testosterone rises, so we get more into action as we get older. And so it's just this, you know, it's reverse puberty.
That's interesting. Well, let me just point out one little detail in there. I'm a big fan of sprints, which I've been, if you have the right environment, and we should cross-check this, but as I understand it, it builds testosterone. So
Right.
so long as your joints are working fine,
and you're in
right,
in the king phase, working into your
exactly.
king phase into the world. Yeah, sprints. So will you explain sprints?
Yes. Now I'm going to give a little credit to John Butcher, is from whom I got this idea over video. And apparently what you're meant to do is to sprint 8 times. You sprint for 20 seconds at a time. You take 10-second breaks. Now, those are the instructions, because I got to tell you, because I've been doing this, I love it. It's the kind of love where you don't want to do it, but when you do it, it truly makes you feel good every single time. Now, my environment's great, and the environment makes a difference. So I don't know that I could do it on concrete. I do have sand and beach. So something that gives under your feet, whatever that is, it could be like a soft surface beneath your feet at the gym. I know many places have like cushiony mats, as long as it's a very large gym and you can do it there. But the point is, I've yet to be able to take a 10-second break between my 20-second sprints. I mean, I need however long I need to catch my breath again. Yeah. But it does get easier overall. And And it really energizes you. It makes me feel good in a way that I haven't ever comparably in any other exercise I can think of. And I wonder, I don't really know. Let's ask the doctors, but I don't know how quickly one might feel, and if they're very sensitive to internal shifts, if they might be feeling the reaction of testosterone building. I would imagine the testosterone builds more over time, but whatever it is, endorphins certainly
Nice.
are really.
And for women, as
building.
we age, there's a lot of studies done right now because I'm in menopause, and so I've been researching all these things, like what's different, what do I need, and slower hit workouts, less is more, but those short bursts workouts are recommended for us too, where we we go in, we get it done. 7-minute workouts are really popular right now, where you just go in, get it done. They're supposed to be more effective to burn fat, right? So sometimes less is more, especially as we age, which is kind of interesting. I think that lifting weights is always important. Of course, drinking water, right, is also important for the body. I would love to go over some of the breathing techniques, because I think breath and water are two ways that we can allow the flow to continue in our life. So we have the energy. I don't know about, but when I'm dehydrated, I don't have the energy to work out. I'm like, oh, right. And then also when you hold your breath, you're going to build that resistance, and then you have cortisol and other hormones that get off track, and then you can't release weight, or you can't gain weight, depending on which side of the coin you're on, as far as your adrenal function, which is a whole different aspect of a conversation of duality. We probably could just talk about adrenal and stress response and how your body responds in a whole different segment. So what are some of the breathing techniques that you enjoy? I know that we both, when we were doing, what is that program?
Wild Fit?
Wild Fit,
With
right?
Eric and Meets.
The yogic breath of the inhale, which is also, I teach a little differently in trauma recovery, but we use it for trauma recovery too, which is that deep inhalation, the hold on the top, and the slow exhalation. Any others
Right.
that you like?
I mean, pranayama is its own art form for sure. Actually, there are apps which you can use to just follow whatever you program in there. And it always has to do with inhale, optional holds, and exhales of different lengths. Generally, you want your exhales to be longer than your inhales, FYI. If it's reverse, then see a doctor. Just in general. Yes, in general.
Cool.
Let me make sure I was saying that right. Did I say exhales should be longer than inhales?
Yeah.
I sure hope I'm right on that. Cross-check me, but I'm pretty sure what I'm saying is
that's
accurate.
how we teach it in as a therapeutic approach. We teach it as inhale, however many counts, hold for 4, and then exhale longer. So I think that if it's a therapeutic approach, not even yogic and pranayamic.
Right. I'm not talking yogic now. Yeah. I'm just talking about regular breathing. Yeah.
So when you're just breathing naturally, if your exhalations are shorter than your inhalations, it might be a sign, we're not doctors here, but might be a sign of something out of balance, and to go to the doctor. Let's just pause for a minute.
Okay.
Let's pause for like 15 seconds and just breathe just naturally. So, because I'm curious now. So if you guys want to join us, just maybe even count how long your natural inhalation is and how long your natural exhalation is. Interesting. Mine were equal. It's trying not to it's hard not to control it.
Yeah.
think mine were like really equal, 5 in, 5 out, 5 in, 5 out.
It could be power of suggestion, given those were the breaths we were doing. So maybe, and that you were just happening to mention them.
Yeah.
Of course, just to clarify too, with pranayama, for the audience, that pranayama does have you manipulating your breaths. So then you are holding, or you're exhaling and inhaling for the same amount, or whatever it is you're working on. And it's to actually shift your energy. So the breath work, pranayama is meant, it's an energetic exercise, actually, practice. It's not about your body per se, it's about your energy.
Right.
So
it'd be in a whole different category when we're talking about this.
Yeah. But your breath obviously is a meeting ground for all the different aspects of yourself, energetic, physical, that in implying a duality, that there's more than one thing. So, or a multiplicity, if you will.
Yeah. What did you experience?
Yeah, my exhales were longer than my inhales. I'm not sure I kept track. I was able to keep track my count, but definitely my exhales were longer than my inhales. And there was a natural pause in between inhales and exhales, which actually is normal and natural. So you might all experience that as well. And again, with pranayamic work, that's often what you're manipulating as well. You're holding that for however long.
Nice.
So
I remember when I first started studying yoga, so it was probably like when I really started looking into it. And actually I started with the chakra system, like that was my passion, not the asana, and more pranayama. And I remember a teacher telling me that unless I was under instruction, not to do pranayama.
Right.
And they like instilled this like fear inside me, to the point where right now I want to teach it in my Amazing You group. Like I want to go in and like teach these specifics in the body zone, because that's what we're going over right now. And I'm like, don't do it. Like I have this inner conflict of resistance, because I have this belief system that unless we're trained, right, which I might have all the training like I need right now, I just haven't been like appointed by the magic guru wand, right, to have permission to breathe and to teach breathing. And now they have these apps and everything out where everyone's like doing all this pranayama, and it's like, but it also works your masculine and your feminine, or your negative and your positive polarities in your body that we even have in our cells, and that are even working in our DNA and our RNA, as you know, as each line of that comes up. I really like doing that with my hands. Like
Ida, and she's showing Ida and Pingala yogis.
Nice.
Ida and Pingala nadis. Yes.
And so this balance also, I think, helps balance the right brain, left brain, helps balance our creativity, helps balance our health and well-being in our body, helps balance our nervous system. When we do have an understanding that, you know, there is going to be a negative and there is going to be a positive pull, and we quit fighting, especially the negative, right? Because we're like, oh, I don't want anything to be negative or heavy or hard, right? I don't want to do those sprints because they're hard. I have to go do something, right? But when we embrace whatever we perceive as negative or slow, as much as we embrace what seems positive or flowy or fast, I don't know if one's better than the other. Well, they're not. Like that's, I guess, the whole point.
Yeah, exactly. That is the whole point.
Yeah. Then we can have more health and vitality.
Yeah, because we have more. Yeah, we have more. Harkening back to our earlier podcast, we have more inner space. And once we're trying to get this or that, we're already enacting duality, which does, from our non-dualistic view, does produce suffering. And attachment is implicitly a dualistic action, because that implies there are two things, one in which you're attaching to another implicitly, therefore something you can lose. And therein the fear, the cortisol likely starts coming up.
Yeah.
But
so
in terms of
I think that might be a reason why people that really focus on losing weight, like they go on diet after diet after diet after diet, they keep gaining weight because they're out of balance with their focus. I call this importance too. In reality transurfing, we call it importance. New Zealand does anyway. I'm friggin' loving that right now. But we focus over here, and then people that really want to gain weight, like they can't gain weight, but because they're focusing on making something negative, whatever it is, whichever polarity we're making, negative or wrong, or I don't like that, or I wish things were different. And so then we ultimately get what we don't want.
I'd say those things play a part insofar as they create obstacles to habituating whatever the behavior is that's necessary to ingrain a pattern, in this case a positive one, in your body as you'd like. So it would be habituating in your everyday schedule what you're eating or not eating, if it's about losing weight. But it needs to be habituated, because otherwise you will be possibly able to willpower your way through it for a time, but only for so long, because in the world of duality, when there's action, there's going to be inaction, there must. And so if it's habituated, it's a slower, steady, it's something that's repeated over and over and over and over, because it can be, because it's not just something that's done in a push. And so maybe in some ways, like when you were pointing out, you know, I want to do this, I want to do that, that's a sort of a pushing, a willpower sort of energy that can't sustain itself nearly as well as a habit can.
Nice.
That's the key for me in terms of the food and the losing weight and the maintaining a certain diet and all of that. Mm-hmm.
Or gaining weight. I remember you were trying to,
or gaining weight,
or not trying, but gaining muscle.
Right.
And yeah, doing the bands and everything, and then getting out and studying the science of it. So part of it is action, and then part of it is being, right? So part of it is action, the more masculine, and the other part is accepting that beingness and the flow and the respect for whatever your formula is to take care of your body. I think everyone's different,
but everyone needs to rest and to be in movement or action in some way. So that you need those two seeming opposites in order to produce health. You can't always just be, again, pushing or only building muscle. I mean, even in the muscle building programs that are about push and build, well, that's so that you can tear your muscles and then you rest so that they can heal. If you don't rest, it's not going to work. It doesn't work. I mean, you can't work out every single day, and not your whole body. You need break days, you need rest days, rest periods. So even the
or else
best
you get
looking,
injured. Yeah,
and or you get injured. Yeah. But I don't know what would physically happen with your muscles, but I don't think they'd have time to heal properly, so that you're getting less benefit of building the muscle, which is in this case, your goal anyway. And just a quick pointing out, you mentioned bands, because yes, I'm using bands. And earlier you'd said lifting weights. And I just want to clarify for the audience that, of course, most any of these things we mentioned usually have other options possible as well. So lifting weights, it could be lifting weights using bands, and there are many ways to build muscle. Building muscle being in that case, I think the most important of the points.
Or even body resistance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then different ways to build endurance and different things that we enjoy. For me, one of the things that I point out in Amazing You when we're going through this body zone is like, what are you passionate about? How did you like to move when you were a kid, right? How did you like to take care of your body when you're a kid? And finding that place where it can be habitual, right?
Exactly.
And at your own university, each week when you get the respect letters or the love letters, we go through each zone each week, giving you a focus. So each week we give you a 10-minute practice to connect with your body, to take care of your body, to get to know it. And some of them might work great. You're like, oh, I want to do this forever. And others, you might be like, oh man, I'm not even going to do this tomorrow. Like, I'm going to go back to last week's practice, right? Because it's not for everybody. And I think that's part of the duality too, is oftentimes we read the latest fad or the latest diet or the latest information, right? Like right now, I read a thing yesterday that said, don't drink lemon water, right? Stop drinking lemon water. I'm like, oh my gosh, like seriously, everybody. So, so there's always like hearsay and all these things shifting. Finding your own truth is what your own university is all about, is finding your own like midline and balance in this duality, in your relationship with your physical body, around movement, right? Around nutrition, because those are the two main popular phases. But you also mentioned the cycles, right? Like what cycle are you on in life, and how does that affect, how does that change things for you? How does that change your energy level, what you need to eat, who you are? Doing that research for yourself, and really choosing things that you like and that inspire you so you can create habits. Because I think when we're doing things out of that push force that you were just speaking about, Jims, it's like it doesn't happen, right? We eventually fall off the wagon and then revert.
Absolutely. Daily practice is what makes it happen, and it's daily.
So next week, I think that we have set to talk about mindset and like the duality of mindset, right? Left brain, right brain, but everything else, guys. And masculine, feminine, the doing and the being. And I think it's going to be a good conversation. We can think about it as we get ready. And if you guys have any comments or questions about this podcast or any others, let us know. Let's see. We have the 17th, we have our masterclass at Your Own University coming up. This masterclass is with Lynn Burnett, and it is all about podcasting. So if you have ever wanted to put out a podcast, and you want to build your audience and everything, we are learning from her. And we're going to learn from this podcast, from her class greatly as well. So hopefully we reach more people with our podcast, but how to start it, how to put together your podcast, how to get your word out. Her masterclass, of course, is in the business and money department at Your Own University. If you are a member, you'll be able to watch the replay. But if you just sign up for our email list, you are going to get that link to join us live to her live class on the 17th at noon Pacific Standard Time. Jims, any closing remarks for this fantastic body love topic? I hope you guys got a lot out of it. I did.
It's a huge topic, and I look forward to circling back to it in progressive depth and detail over time.
Yeah.
So thanks for being here with this list of those podcasts about it. And have fun on the 17th, everyone, with us, Your Own University.
Talk to you soon.